Alright, let's talk about Heartbound. And before we start, I'm going to disconnect the art from the artist here. I know there's been a lot of chatter about Pirate Software, social media posts, YouTube videos, you name it. What drew me in? Honestly, curiosity. Some people say it's a hidden gem, others say it's a scam wrapped in pixel art. Then I read the reviews on Steam and could see it's been review bombed, which made me think, alright, were these true? So I decided to give it a go myself. It's marketed as a non-traditional RPG, and non-traditional is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. Going in, I was expecting quirky mechanics, maybe a clever twist on combat, and some unique storytelling that pulls you in. What I got was, well, my standout thought before playing, how is this still in early access after more than 6 years? Yet after about 2 hours of actual gameplay, I understood. Don't get me wrong, I've been a video editor for a long time. A 10-minute video can take 5 or 6 hours to edit and refine, so projects like this do take time to complete. However, this thing's been cooking since Christmas 2018, and not in the slow roast that melts in your mouth kind of way, more in the forgot it in the oven, now it's charcoal. If I had to guess who this game's really for, probably Pirate Software superfans. For anyone else, especially if you want, gameplay, you might feel like you're just watching a show, and not even a binge-worthy show. More like a late night rerun where you think, I'll give it 5 minutes, and suddenly you've seen the whole thing out of pure stubbornness. Sound familiar? So, what do you do in Heartbound? You play as Law, a guy who's just lost his dog, Baron, and I think you're supposed to be navigating the stages of grief. Maybe, but it's never spelled out clearly. And here's my theory. With a dev cycle this long, the story direction just wandered off. The person making this game in 2018 is not the same person making it in 2025. Life changes, interest shifts, and you can feel it. It's like watching a TV show where halfway through they replace the writers and just hope no one would notice. Controls, they feel fine. Smooth when you're actually allowed to move, but most of the time you're hammering the next button through a wall of dialogue. And I mean walls of dialogue. If you printed the game script, you could probably insulate a small shed. Unique mechanics? Well, in my 2.5 hour session, I had 1 boss fight, which was pretty easy, 2 puzzles, which were very easy, and 1 fishing minigame. And that lasted about 30 seconds. And that's it. The rest is just walking between points, reading dialogue, and save points. So many save points. I'm convinced they're not for convenience, but for mercy. Like the dev knows you'll need a break. Best moment for me was clicking exit to the desktop. Yeah, it's not a good sign. So here's the setup. Law loses Baron the dog, and each chapter is supposed to explore his grief and his past. Chapter 1 is in an office, the corporate world, a metaphor for the soul-crushing corporate life. And I will give it its flowers, it does nail that vibe. Chapter 2, suddenly you're in a Stardew Valley knockoff, fixing a pocket watch. No explanation, just, we farm now. But it's incomplete, so you have to wait to see where it goes. Chapter 3, you can technically load it, but then nothing. No continuation, no closure. It's like a Netflix show that got cancelled mid-season. Characters? Well, Baron's the standout, mostly because he talks less than everyone else. Binder was interesting too, but he gets maybe 5 minutes of screen time. Everyone else just talks a lot, but says very little. It's like every conversation in his game is written by that one co-worker that arranges an hour meeting, which could have just been an email. Was I invested? Honestly, no. I read every single line, and it felt like I was an audience member and not a participant, which is a problem for something calling itself a role-playing game. Chapter 1 had a really strong atmosphere, and yes, the ducks on the head moment did make me smile, even though I still have no idea why it was there. The pixel art style, it's solid. The pixel work is clean, environments are distinct, and it all fits the tone, when the tone is actually clear. Each chapter feels different visually, which I appreciated. The characters even had this little bounce animation when they walk. Cute at first, but even the portraits in the dialogue bounce. After an hour, it feels like you're being talked to by a bobblehead. Visual wow moments? Not really. The one boss fight could have been something, but instead it looked like a flickering light bulb. It was more interesting flicking the light bulbs on and off in the bedroom. At least I didn't find any glitches, so that's something. And apparently this game can run on a smart fridge, which might honestly be the best way to play it. Imagine making a sandwich while Law's dealing with existential grief. It's a perfect pairing. Also a perfect pairing is hitting that like button and subscribing for future reviews. Thank you. Alright, here's where I give the game some credit. The music is genuinely fantastic. Each chapter's soundtrack fits perfectly. The thunder rumbling in the intro, the light switch clicks, the ambience, it's all spot on. For me, music is huge in games. A mediocre game with great audio can still pull me in. And for a moment, Heartbound almost did that. But music can't save flat storytelling forever. Sound effects are crisp, and it adds immersion. But without engaging gameplay, it's like putting a perfect music score over a PowerPoint presentation. No voice acting, which is fine for a pixie indie, but some of the jokes in the writing, especially chapter 2, yeah, they land with the grace of a damp towel. The technical performance, it runs fine, no crashes, loads instantly, smooth frame rate, but let's be real, it's not doing anything technically demanding. I've seen more complex animation in a Game Boy Advance title. And again, for something that's been in development for over 6 years, you'd expect at least a finished chunk of content. Here's the thing, it's short, really short. 2.5 hours for me, which did include note-taking. Without notes, you could probably breeze through in about 2 hours, which is just over Steam's refund window. Coincidence? I'll let you decide. There's a random collectible, socks, but the game never really explains why you're collecting them, or how many there are, just socks. Maybe a metaphor, maybe not. Maybe it's a joke within Pirate Software's community, or maybe he just likes socks. Would I replay? Maybe if it ever gets finished, but even then, if I were you, I'd wait for a sale. For context, I paid £8.50 for 2 hours of mostly dialogue. Compared to what I paid for Bloons TD6 on the mobile, it's the same price. However, dozens of hours of fun. Who doesn't like a tower defense game? The final verdict, the positives are the sound design and the soundtrack, but that's it. The negatives, vastly incomplete despite years of development, shallow character with bloated dialogue. If I had to sum it up, an incomplete episode of something that shouldn't be a game. Who would I recommend this to? Honestly, no one. If you bought this on release and you've been waiting since 2018 for it to be completed, you deserve better. And compared to games it's lumped in with, like Undertale, don't bother, just go and play Undertale, or literally anything else. My rating, uninstall immediately. Well, I mean, just don't even buy it. It's not worth the hard drive space. So, did you play Heartbound? And did you manage to get a refund? I'm genuinely curious, so let me know in the comments. And remember, how do you spell boring? Sorry for wasting your time with this one, but at least you didn't waste your money. If you want to hear me talk about a game I actually did enjoy, then check out the review here, if it's here. It's all uphill from here.